All right, so we on the top basketball players, the greatest basketball players of all time in NBA history. We're talking about the best of the best. Hopefully you've been following my videos lately. I started with the top 60 all-time greatest players. And as I explained, you could do 100 basketball players, 75 because they had the top 75 list in the NBA. I chose to go with 60. And we splitting hairs as we go down this list. Hopefully you've been keeping up because we're down to the last video, the top 2. My 2, if you've been paying attention, you'll realize that my 2 greatest basketball players of all time, you probably already know who they are because there's only 2 other names left that are truly all-time greats when it comes to this game. Now, full disclosure, these guys, either one has a claim to be the greatest of all time. I said before, when we got to like number 15, all of these guys were someone who had a claim to say, I was the best basketball player in the world at some point during my career. These 2 have a claim to say, I think I was the best basketball player that ever played basketball. That's what's legit about these 2. Now, I'm going to get to it, and it's going to be controversial. But at number 2, I've got Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's going to be super controversial, I know. Even more controversial than having LeBron James at number 3. There's a lot of LeBron James fans out there that probably thought that was crazy to have LeBron James not number 1, let alone 3. And Michael Jordan, I think if you polled most people living today, they would say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. No question. And I'm not here to try to go back and forth. I'm just going to give you my opinion. I respect that most people probably would go with Michael Jordan number 1. But he's my number 2. Or 1A, we'll call him. Michael Jordan was phenomenal, obviously. One of the greatest of all time. In one of my videos about Kobe Bryant, I talked about the fact that I said he was not quite Mike. What I meant by that, he modeled his game after Michael Jordan, but Jordan did everything, or most things, just a little bit better than Kobe. His first step was super explosive. Kobe was not that quick off the first step. His athletic ability, his strength, which he built on by hitting the weight room after his battles with the Detroit Pistons. Michael Jordan, his strength, his composure, his control in the moment of every game was just phenomenal. Kobe Bryant had a better ball handle than him. Some would say he was a better three-point shooter. I disagree. Mike just didn't shoot that many threes because he didn't have to, nor did he want to. But Jordan had a smoother jump shot, in my opinion. His ability to get to his mid-range off that first step and his athletic ability was uncanny. His hands, he could palm the rock so easily that once he got past you and he took those 2 steps and he had that ball in the palm of his hand, it was over. And I'm talking about the Michael Air Jordan, the early years. Mike with hair on his head, not bald Mike. Mike when Larry Bird called him Jesus Christ in basketball shoes. That's how good he was. God in basketball shoes, Larry Bird said. He came in the league averaging 28 points a game. By his 3rd season, he was averaging 37 a night. MJ did it all, and that's just the points. He gets you 5 to 8 boards, 5 to 8 assists on a year-in, year-out basis. Lead the league in steals. Great shot blocker for a shooting guard. 5-time league MVP. Defensive player of the year. Mike did it all. What he's known most for, what he gets the acclaim for, is being 6-0 in the NBA Finals. Never allowed anybody to go to a Game 7. We've heard that before. He did come up short before he had a Scottie Pippen as a teammate or Phil Jackson. Does that mean he he needed Phil Jackson as coach or Scottie Pippen as a player? I think Phil, yes, that was critical. Phil's the greatest coach of all time in NBA history, in my opinion. Scottie Pippen, he could have won with a Charles Barkley, a Karl Malone, a Reggie Miller, or a Patrick Ewing, but he definitely needed help. And he needed to trust his teammates and learn to make the extra pass at times to a guy like John Paxson or Steve Kerr or Tony Kukoc or Scottie Pippen. Get out the way, let Scottie run the offense and get him into their sets and do you. Lock up and get buckets. Mike learned and his IQ increased and he became the greatest in most people's eyes. Can't knock Michael Jordan, all-time great. If you got him number one, I'm cool with that. But my number one is Bill Russell. Rest in peace, Bill. Bill Russell, he gets a lot of not enough credit because people will say, well, yeah, he got 11 championships, but there were less teams in the league. Forget about the fact that less teams means a higher talent pool. Think about now, instead of 30 plus teams in the NBA, if there was only 10, some guys would get cut that are making the NBA right now. So it'd be a little bit tougher. They also say Bill Russell had an all-time Hall of Fame championship squad. Okay, why didn't that championship squad win before Bill Russell showed up on the scene? And what if I told you Bill Russell in high school was the best player on his high school team, which you would expect if he made it to the NBA, but he won 2 state championships. Then he went on to the pros and won 2 national championships. Bill was a winner from day one. Red Auerbach made sure to draft him because he knew that. And even though he wasn't a great scorer, he was probably better at defense than Michael Jordan was at scoring. That's how great he was. I heard rumors and stories of Bill Russell shutting down a Boston Celtics practice because he didn't want to practice anymore. Auerbach wanted to practice, and in order to disrupt things, he wouldn't allow any plays to get through, wouldn't allow anybody to score or complete a play because of the fact that he was that good on defense and could shut everything down. That's amazing. He has stories about him on defense that are like legend, like the Loch Ness Monster, like Michael Jordan on defense. But more importantly, when the Celtics didn't have him, they weren't winning. When he got there, they commenced to win 8 championships in a row and 11 out of 13. Along with him being the greatest defender of all time, the second greatest rebounder of all time, a top 5 passing center of all time, and a person that probably has one of the highest basketball IQs, if not top 3 basketball IQs of all time. If that's not enough for you, he decided he was going to coach and play at the same time and won a championship doing that. He's one of the all-time highest top 5 winning percentages as a basketball coach in the NBA and as a player. Enough said. Bill Russell's the dude. Let's not talk about what he did outside and the civil rights movement and all that. Bill Russell was a winner. He was a savant. Most importantly, he was a leader. A leader of men, a leader of players, and a leader of strategy on the court. That's my number one. If you got MJ, I'm cool with that. But I like to give Bill his credit and his respect. Rest in peace, Bill. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And as always, I'm coming at y'all with that fire all the time.